All right. As we keep going into this 2022 offensive preview for Clemson, we come up on wide receiver. This is a very interesting group because last year, they really didn't probably perform as well as they would have liked to. And I know that this whole group is really wanting to improve on that and really show that last year is a space for growth and was more of an anomaly versus the traditional, wide receiver you as Clemson likes to be known as. But, you know, when you're ranked ninth in the ACC and 82nd in scoring and 11th in passing in conference, it's tough, it's tough to claim that as much. And I think what I'm excited for this year is that last year you probably had a lot of guys who were similar builds, and having a guy like Spector hurt in the slot and not having like an Amari Rogers piece or a Hunter Renfro type of slot person. I know they're a couple, like he's a couple years removed. When you don't have that, I think that just really hurt because you're having the same type of wideouts trying to do different things, and you just didn't have that safety net type of receiver per se, or it was just all the injuries kept piling up. I mean, it was just brutal. And then you have Justin Ross, poor guy, is coming back from the spinal surgery and just trying to get used to playing football again. And so super excited for him to even just have an opportunity in the NFL because he's a talent. But you lose him, and really you didn't really get to jump on all of his talent, just unfortunately. And you had a lot of freshmen and or guys like a Joseph Ngata who has just been hurt, and the talent's there, but can he stay on the field? You have a guy like Frank Ladson transfer, didn't really get to see him fully. So I think there's just a lot of places for guys to step up. And a factor of this that's been talked about, and I think it's a really, really thing important to talk about, is the wide receiver blocking has to be better. And that's really like for running plays to go from like a 3 yard, 4 yard gain to like the 10, 15, 20, like those type of runs. The wide receiver blocking just has to be better. And I know that's been an emphasis this year. And that's a lot of that is effort. And I'm, you're not trying to call out single guys, but I just think like that's the type of, how rebounding in basketball, like it's the guy who wants it more type of thing. Like who wants to go after it. That's kind of how I think about when I think about like wide receiver blocking. It's not like on the stat sheet, you're not going to get credit for that. Like if you're doing it well, people don't always, notice it, but it's a huge factor of this game, and that's why football is such a cohesive team game. Is you need to go well, and that's why a guy like Dakari Collins, he was a freshman who got some playing time later in the year because he was doing that really well. And I mean, he's a guy you want on your team, and just super proud of the effort that these guys showed at the end of the year. And I'm just excited for what this looks like. So, and really, this is his year to show what he can do on the outside. You had Bo Collins, come in, and you have the St. John Bosco relationship. He's a year younger than DJ, that we're really starting to see, and I think he's due for a big breakout year. So I'm excited for that. Spector could be really cool. EJ Williams is another guy who, from the same high school as Justin Ross in Alabama, from like Phoenix City, and you could argue that he's just maybe been a little bit of his shadow, and I'm excited for him. Hopefully get on the field more. Antonio Williams is another guy who we've heard great things about, and there's some freshmen that are going to be pushing for playing time, and it's really just going to be the best guys who can play. But I think a guy, if Brandon Spector or somebody in the slot can really establish themselves, that would be big. And then you got Will Taylor. You don't want to mention him too, the dual player. I think we'll see it'd be cool to see him in the slot, or maybe some wildcat, or maybe see some more where the jet sweep pop pass, like that type of thing. I'm very curious to see those types of things. But this group, I know, is really ready. I mean, I'd imagine they're ready to show what they can do this year, and DJ's got to be more accurate, of course, but this group as a whole is you got to help your quarterback out. Like we were just seeing more drops last year, and I think just for them to hit those big plays and not have it all be on, the running game or all on DJ perfectly is big. And you saw a lot of those, the drop back, rush 3, drop back 8, what we were seeing, and you got to make defenses pay for that. And so I would imagine Georgia Tech's going to try that because it worked. They were one of the first teams to really try that. And so I'm very interested to see just the chemistry of these guys. But I think a lot of guys were due for a big year, and I think last year's going to be more of an anomaly than the new norm for sure.